In that case, welcome to the. Now it's terrible. I've forgotten the number. I think we're on the ninth version of the Kyber Council. We have the regular crew with us: Sanjita, Tassanex, and Van Seal. Welcome, gentlemen. Glad to have you as always. Sanjita, I'll start with you. We'll go left to right this time. Where can people find you? How are you doing? What's your favorite food today?
Sanjita on YouTube. That's pretty much my only content. SONGTA. Doing good, and it's my favorite food is pizza, but it's sad that you ask about that because I just got some blood work done. I need to cut back on the pizza. So
That is sad.
unfortunate.
I'm sorry on your
Yeah,
behalf. I'll eat some for you to try and counterbalance the global pizza
yeah.
consumption.
I am fine, by the way, but it's just like they're like cut back on that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Sad news indeed. Tass, how
Mhm.
about you? Same exact question. Favorite food and about you.
Yeah, I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Tassinix. YouTube channel is Tassinix Gaming. Have a bunch of Swugger related stuff there. Yeah, favorite foods probably gonna have to be a steak. Yeah, it's got to be medium rare. I like it seasoned. I like it mashed potatoes, sautéed mushrooms and onions.
You're talking my language right here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's about it. That's heaven on a plate. That's my preferred birthday meal is steak. Like if somebody's asking me, oh, let me fix you whatever you want for dinner, steak. Sold. All right,
Good to
that's
know.
it.
No cake or anything afterward, just steak, veggies, the potatoes and onion or the
Oh
mushrooms and
yeah,
onions.
I could go on. I mean, if we want to spend the rest of the time talking about it, I have a vision in my head. Yeah.
It's gonna make me hungry. Yeah, steak. Well, Van Seal, how about you?
I'm Fancy. I'll stream on YouTube and Twitch, and occasionally do YouTube videos. I would say lately my favorite food is probably salmon. I cook it like 4 or 5 days a week, so I like it a lot. I guess if I eat it that often.
Yeah, like you pan sear it or you bake it
I'm
or how do you?
I'm what you call a basic bitch. I
Okay.
pan sear it. I do salt, pepper, and then I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. There's this old diner called Bob's Big Boy. They're not really around any longer, but I have a surplus of their seasoning because I thought their seasoning was super good. So I kind of just add that to whatever I make. But I don't
Very
use
nice.
lemon. I don't use lemon on my salmon. That's the only thing I do that's probably weird, just because
Salmon has like a lot of flavor.
yeah, and I read online, I guess originally the whole reason people started doing lemon on salmon was to get rid of the fishy smell.
Hmm.
But if you cook it really fresh, you don't get that smell. And I'm not a fan of the acidity, so but yeah, just salt, pepper, Bob's Big Boy seasoning, and maybe a little bit of butter. With the skin on, by the way. The skin
Yeah.
is like the best part.
Nice.
Extra crispy.
Like,
Mhm.
what do you mean skin? I'm not like the gills.
Like, yeah, the scales and all that stuff. Yeah, you cook it face down.
The scales on it?
Yeah, you cook it face down,
So
and
you
then you
just
flip
dive
it.
in and
You flip it. No, well, the skin becomes
Like
like almost like a potato chip.
Yeah,
It's like
no,
really
think
hard.
about like when you eat fried chicken. Like
Yeah.
you're like if the skin's done up crispy and it's not like limp and loose and floppy, like it's thin and crispy and
Yeah.
delicious to
Yep.
eat. Same with the fish
But
skin if you do it right. Yeah.
but it has the scales on it too?
Yeah.
Dang, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
think
apparently
usually
it's really healthy. Salmon's really
I
healthy.
think a lot of
so that's
people
a good
brush it
favorite
like
food.
with a lot of people will go
Yeah,
against
they try
the
to get
scales with a
yeah.
knife and descale it while still leaving the skin. I don't know.
Yeah.
You could I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know.
I think
Nice.
they do descale it, but you're not going to get all of it off. There's always a couple flakes on there.
Yeah.
and they do
Yeah.
crisp up very nicely too.
Mhm.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting talking about the lemon on fish. It's similar in some ways to tequila, like in I don't know about other countries, but I would say like most like younger bars and stuff like that where younger people go. You know, there's a big thing. You have your tequila and you have the lime and salt and whatever. If you actually have good tequila, you do never, ever, ever have lime with it. Maybe you'd have an orange a little bit afterwards or before or something like to complement the flavors. but good tequila, like you want to enjoy the tequila, not like get the taste out of your mouth because you're buying a shot of tequila for $1 or something. That's like not good tequila. Interesting. You guys all have very, very nice taste. I think my favorite food, I would say probably Thai food or like Mediterranean / Italian. Very broad. Like I can't say that one dish is my go-to, but it was making me hungry. And by the way, thank you to my amazing co-hosts here. I have realized that it's actually the 10th episode of the Kuiper Council. I just neglected that, so thank you very much.
Double digits.
I know, amazing. That means we've been doing this for nearly a year.
Season finale, yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy. And didn't we like miss a month at some point?
we did. Yeah,
Something,
we did.
Yeah.
One of these. So yeah, basically a year.
Yeah, the first one was November.
2 months then we must have missed. Oh no, if 2 more months, that would be August, September. So it's 1 month.
Yeah, we missed February.
Man, I'm admiring your attention to detail. Thank you.
Oh, I just have them pulled up on my channel. I searched the council, so I'm looking.
Oh well, that would do it too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and actually get into the 10 minutes in, and we haven't talked about Swigo at all yet.
It's great.
So,
I'm just
well
kidding.
done to us. Yeah. First question is sort of like our first topic is the same one we talk about every time. How'd your last season go? Upsides, downsides, ugly, beautiful. How'd you do? Van Seal, you want to kick us off?
Sure. I actually had a lot of fun last season, and that's partially because of the current Datacron set.
Mhm.
I think there were so many interesting things where I'm like, all right, I'm going up against this team. I'm reading what the Datacron does. My brain has processed what the Datacron does. But then when I go in, I'm like, oh, now I actually understand what it can do. And then I either get my ass kicked or something interesting happens. Obviously, there was a handful of bugs with the Tankron. You know, that one was...
Yeah.
that one just kind of sucked. But you know what? I was like, you know what? It's happening to everybody. So I'm like, I guess it's fair. I did get the back-to-back Star Destroyers multiple times with Star Kill. I don't know if any of you guys got that. So that was always fun. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I got that.
That happened the first time, and I had no clue what was
Okay.
happening. I
Have
was
another.
like, did I forget what happened 10 seconds ago?
Just
Yeah, I was like, okay, all right, cool. So, yeah, it was fun, and like, I'm really looking forward to just like next 3v3 too, just because I think a lot of people are starting to discover some really ridiculous comps. Like, obviously, the one of Saw Gerrera and Kyle Katarn right now is just funny in my opinion. Like, I know a lot of people get upset about that. I'm like, it's funny. Like, just accept it for what it is. It's not going to be around forever, thank God, but just goofy stuff like that.
wait, what's going on with that one?
The Saw Gerrera support Kron with Kyle Katarn, he's pretty much one-shotting everybody. Because the support Kron ramps every time you inflict a debuff, and Saw Gerrera
With,
inflicts 15 stacks per character. So you do your math,
Yeah.
and then he just goes in and goes, bye.
Is that mainly in 5v5?
No, it's in threes.
It's
Threes
what
too,
it
yeah.
is that per debuff.
'Cause I faced it and it-
attackers gain 10% crit damage.
Yeah.
So you get
Oh, I
more
know- yeah,
mileage
I know
out of
that.
it in fives than in threes, but it's still going to be doing something.
I came across it twice and I just like faced it like a normal team. I didn't lose. I forget what I was using. I think I like had C left over, so maybe that's why it was like, oh, I can just overkill this. But yeah, cool.
Yeah, it was interesting, all the different comps. And talking about strange comps too, I think I saw like 7 different varieties of Ray comps.
Yeah.
Ray with attacker,
Mhm.
Ray with support, Ray with Cal, Ray with Hermit Yoda.
Ray with
like-
Visas. Yep.
Yes, with
Oh,
visas, exactly.
Nest.
Yeah.
I got
That
ripped
part-
apart by a Nest. Of course, they had like 90% health plus health, so the
Oof.
Ray had 350,000 health. But
Damn.
that Nest just ripped me to shreds. I was doing a mirror, and she just killed my Cal and my Ben really easily. It was impressive.
I remember in week 1, a Nest. I threw rocks with Malikos once. Then I got to his next turn, did his middle, and I didn't kill anybody with it. So he didn't reset. And then before he could get to his second rocks, Ness took like 6 turns in a row or some shit. And that involved stacking up several exposes on Malikos, who has, just real casually 100,000 base health before anything was figured in. So he just hopped. And yeah, I did not do that shit for the rest of the season. I remember that in week 1. Thank you for bringing me back to that trauma, Sunjita.
Does he have to get a kill with the middle for a reset? I thought it was 20 stacks of his Edge of Madness.
It's
Get that
probably
bonus
just
turn.
my experience that I'm used to it resetting most on a kill. You may be right on
Okay.
that.
Gotcha.
But I know that on a kill it does. So I'm just used to thinking of it in terms of like I'm probably killing something on the first rocks, and I usually end the fight on the second rocks, and we didn't get to the second rocks.
Yeah. I mean, his kit's a book, so it makes sense it's confusing.
How did the rest of your season go, Tass?
Yeah, mixed bag. I was set up to go 6-3, but it ended up being 5-4. Dig this. Leviathan comp with B28, Dagger, and Sass up front. So this is with Fury, Palpatine, Mark 6, and Scimitar as reinforcements.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
So I fought
I came across one, yeah.
My very last 2 rounds of the season. The first time I fought it with the standard Chimera counter, nothing too crazy. Even one of the better banner outcomes, 73. Not often you can get that with Chimera on that matchup. And then the second time, we didn't dodge a couple times, I guess, like we did on the first time. And the turn meter lapping began. And it was disastrous. Just absolutely nothing died, unrecoverable. Nothing died until it was too late anyway. I did end up killing a couple ships, but like I knew there was not going to be a one shot. So that sunk the fight right there. So the same fight that I 73 the round before, I just got RNG blown out on because of the turn meter loop created between Sass and Dagger. The turn meter gain only happens once, but that's all it really needs. And that is a nasty bit of business. And I lost the match by 8 banners. Like I beat this super hyper efficient player at his own ground game and then lost to Fleet RNG. Ta-da!
That sucks.
Yeah. I mean, but it's I don't you don't hear me complaining when it breaks my way. So what am I supposed to say?
It's interesting how Fleet can still make such a big difference in this meta. That's one of the things I do enjoy, that I still, just like the last few seasons, I'm never seeing round to round the same Fleet defense. Somebody will put Leviathan in Profundity. Most people put Negotiator these days. A lot of people put Executor. Like it's nice to have something a little bit different now and then. And man, the amount of people I've seen using Radis on offense now for oftentimes taking out the Malevolence fleet. Like you can get 72, 73 pretty easily. Pretty nice, because a lot of people are putting, at least I'm seeing a lot of people with Malevolence on defense. Since
it's a good one.
Banner Stealer. Besides that, any other strange things this season, Tass? Like any weird comps, any surprises, any?
My Afra BT1 000 is like a labor of love for me. I put a lot of love into those characters, and they're able to kill Jabba, whether or not there's an Afra Kron in season. But that I fought early in the season like a tank level 6 with Grit, and there was a bunch of defense on the Kron besides. So we didn't get to AoE and chip out Bausch early and get moving and get the wagon train moving. And because of that, we just got closed out so quickly. And you can't expose Chrysanthemum because of the Grit. He's huge because of the protection up gains while
Yeah.
having grit. It was nowhere near close. So, learning that Afra in 3s at least here against that particular setup of set 16 on Java, that's tough. But what I ended up seeing over most of the season is people gravitated towards long text attacker level 6.
Yeah, for Bush's doubles. Yeah.
And either percent health light side level 3 or the light side buffs one.
Yeah. I saw a lot of the light side buffs. And the first time, actually, the very first, I think it was in the first round, I also faced the Jabba with the attacker level 6. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to be a little cautious. I'll take SLKR up against this. Don't want to be foolish. And I lost. I think I misplayed it a bit, but I completely was not expecting the damage from, it was an R9 Boosh, I think. But the double hits from Boosh, I didn't have the first order, the Special Forces level 9. It was the SLKR level 9.
Oh.
But yeah, I was shocked. I still won the match, but it was like crazy how much damage he was putting out with those 2 hits.
I think the one that surprised me, I went up against multiple Javas, like one with the support cron, one with the attacker cron, the tank cron, so I got a good tasting variety of what to look forward to in 5v5. But Vandor Chewy, his level 9 kind of surprised the heck out of me. The one that gives them the 5% stats per relic amplifier and minus 15% damage. That minus 15% damage made a huge difference. It made him very, very difficult to kill because while he's buffed, he's all you're already doing minus 25% less damage. So now you're doing minus 40% damage to him. And anytime he gets debuffed, he gets taunt because of the level 6 Datacron. So he is always buffed, and he was just super, super annoying. And I was like, wow, I was not expecting him to just be that much of a nuisance. I think the team was just I think it was Dash, Vandor, and God, who was the third that I fought? I don't know. I mean, let's just say Nest or Young Lando for the sake of discussion. Oh no, it was Hondo. It was Hondo. That was the third. Yeah, no, Vandor Chewy. I was not expecting him to be taunting the whole fight, and just I can't hit the dude. I can't even do anything to him. And then he's always recovering his and this is after they fixed the tank level 6 too. He was still pretty good.
And that was which level 6?
The
so
tank,
long tech?
the long text one for tank, yeah.
Yeah. And it was what comp with Vandor here? Dash Vandor?
It was Dash,
L3
Vandor, Hondo.
I love how the Datacrons have become so transparent and which one's the best one that we just refer to the best one as the long words one.
Well, when you
better.
it does happen to be, yes, that the long text one is the best one, but it's literally they stand out from all the others. All the others are like, do this one or two things for one or two turns.
Well, even if
and
the
there's
ones
other
are,
ones paragraph, clause A, clause B.
even if the paragraph ones are bad, they all do 2 or 3 things. So it's you kind of have multiple effects bundled into one. So.
And they are all the best one. Yeah. All of the long text ones are the best one for their roles.
Yeah.
Did you guys see much or have much experience with Coruscant Underworld Police's level 9? Did you ever fight that or?
Never saw him.
I fought one. I fought it was Queen Amidala, Pow, and Cup, but if it's the Cup Cron, it's not the Pow Cron, so it was definitely easier. I forget what I used, but it was easy. Because Cup doesn't really have anything to protect himself, and it can just get stunned. And, it's not more durable, so you just wipe it out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was a little surprised not to see more of it. I never faced it a single time, but at the same time, I guess it's going to shine a bit more in 5s, I imagine. And seems like that. How did your season go, Sanjita?
Yeah, pretty good. So I think last time we were on, I might have complained a bit about or mentioned not having 2 of the big teams. And towards the end of the season, Qui-Gon was easily farmable, so I finished off Qui-Gon for the last week, swept that week, so I ended up 6-3 for the season. That was 3-3 going into the last week, and It's my first 6-3 3v3 season. That's a lot of 3 in there. It's the last time I've gone 6-3 in a triple season, and like forever. Like as long as Suga.gg records, at least. I can't remember the last time because I've always been like down in 3v3, up in 5v5, and going into 5v5 I'll have Jar Jar too. But it was just an exercise, and like there's a lot of teams that are really difficult to beat, and there's not many options. Like JMK, Padme, Cat, Queen Amidala, Pow, Qui-Gon, and then well, for the first like week, or I don't know if it was 1 or 2 weeks, the Leia Bug Tankron
Yeah.
was just a titan. And I think it was mostly like Slicker and Riva could beat it, but I started slow, got to get up to speed after, because they, the first week don't really have many of the new Datacrons, and then after that start getting better. But yeah, I have a lot of the support words one, the long attacker one, and not many tank stuff. So I need to get more tank crons. But yeah, I faced. This was interesting. I faced this one account, and I didn't know what account it was. It's because it's an account that's changed hands a bunch of times. It's actually in my Squad Arena shard, and it was controlled by a player who started in 2019 and became like the 4th largest account in the game by the time quitting in less than a year. And then it's changed hands a bunch of times. But the guy I faced said, I don't know how you can do this. You can check how much money has been spent on an account over time. And that account has had like almost $200,000 US dollars spent on it,
Cool.
which is insane.
You beat a house.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah,
Yeah, literally.
and like 90% of it was that first guy. And he was really nice. Like when I was new, or when I was first getting high in Squad Arena, like I had my Janitor Revan and Yoda. I had like 2 relics. He was very nice about like subbing people out for you. He was like, yeah. I was like, can you weaken? He's like, sure. What do you want me to put in? And then let you get number 1 if you're close. So he was a really nice guy, but like I can't imagine 200. I don't know what the largest amount spent on an account ever is, but it's got to be
It's
up
gotta
there.
be up
That's
there, yeah.
crazy.
I don't.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't think that's the highest though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more over time. If you think of somebody who's played the game since, when did it
Almost
come
9
out in
years.
2019?
Almost 9 years. Yeah.
End
No,
of
16. Yeah.
No. It was
End of
4
2015.
Yeah, I heard it was late
15.
15.
It was
I
15. It was
started-
right. It was right when The Force Awakens was coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Well,
was
they played for,
November,
like-
and then they had like Force Awaken characters come out as a promo.
Yeah, but so they got me
right around the
3
time.
4-star Captain
came out.
Phasma if you start within the first 3 weeks. I was like, man, that's a great deal.
Yeah,
It got me.
steal.
But if they're spending like 1,000 a month, 10,000 a year, and that's certainly got to be on the low end compared to some players.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like over 10 years, that's where you are. You're at 100,000 already. Crazy.
And that guy stopped playing the account. Like he turned it over to another account. I think a little over a year after playing it. So it was 1 year.
That's amazing.
Rich.
A lot of us disposable income, I guess.
Apparently.
Yeah. Well, my season, I don't think I played any players that spent that much money, fortunately for me. Although who knows what difference it would make now with all the Datacrons and everything. More of what DCs they had. But my season was pretty good, actually. It was 5-4. I think I easily could have gone 6-3 because there was 1 week that I only was able to do like 4 or 5 attacks, and the guy failed a bunch on my walls. So I think I changed up my offense just once, really, in terms of which teams I had on offense and defense. But it felt like every single opponent I played, I would use different teams to beat their defense because of the Datacron that they used, or like the particular what they put in the front wall versus the back wall. And later on in the season, like mostly I used Traya to beat the Gungans, but that was like the first 2 weeks, and then half the people didn't. Well, I think 2 out of my 3 last opponents didn't even place Gungans on defense just because it was such a cheap team. And one of the teams I loved using was Ray, actually. I
yeah.
used her. I actually, in the last week, I found a Cup Datacron. And so I used her and Ben and Cup versus. It's terrible. I don't remember the team, but it was like there was other matches there where the Ray team was like a 60% success. But with Cup in there, I felt that it would give me. Oh yeah, it was Ray versus a Bastilla JML Watt with the tank DC.
One of those.
Yeah, and it was in the
Nice.
back wall, and they had a bunch of pretty good stuff on the front wall. So I didn't have. I also had a heavy defense. I didn't have Riva. I didn't have C. Um, and I was expecting a JMK on the back wall. And Ray works great against JMK, by the way. In my mind, that was the best counter
Oh yeah,
to
yeah.
JMK
That
this
was
season.
clutch for me too.
Who was
But
your third for that?
versus the JML one
Either, but like Ray versus whatever you were doing this season.
versus JMK, I think 2 or 3 times I used Cal with a support DC,
Okay.
Same here.
and I think in the first week, the 1 or 2 times I used it, I just used Hermit Yoda and a bulk set 15 with some armor
Okay.
penetration.
Dig that. Thank you.
Yeah. But it was actually pretty cool with Ray and Cup and Ben. I killed JML with I don't know how much protection with the armor ignoring attacks, with his protection ignoring attacks of both Ben and Cup.
Oh,
And the
nice.
fight was over in a couple of minutes. The sides were easy to kill with Ben and with Ray's ults. But with Cup's protection ignoring attacks and Ben's protection ignoring attacks, yeah, just went right under his protection, and it was pretty fun to use him there. That was the only time I used him all season, though.
Ignoring protection is just so cheap. It's such a cheap mechanic. Like 1 week, I think it was the first week, I was like banging my head against the wall against a Palcron, and I got stuck on the front wall, so I just emptied the clip just to show how much it'd kill. Brought in JML, he just went down like a dog. He just like melted.
Yeah.
It was like one hit and then another tap, and he's just dead. Because it's like, so much is built into the game of, okay, protection's the thing, protection up, bonus protection, all this stuff. And it's like, nope, I don't care about all that. Riposte is one thing because it's limited, but then like, Kenobi, Ben's a little bit more tame because he doesn't do too much, and then Cup, it's just like, it's cheap.
My Dooku, I'm really excited for fives for that trench team. I know in TW it's massacre Ray. Like not even my Dooku countered with Riposte for like 950k. I was like, okay. Just a measly 950. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, that's with the support level 6, of course. We're you have 3 different support in that team, and then Django. Like, don't even get me started on his damage. But that was a team that got me a lot of holds. Was Trench, Django, and Watt with the Wattcron. I fought that one with Newt. It was Trench, Newt, and the Wattcron. Oh my god, I don't know how many times I killed Watt that fight. I was like, just stay dead. Like, but the Cron resets Watt's cooldowns. He just brings them right back.
Yeah, that was one thing actually that was pretty interesting this season. I felt that maybe not the first week, but certainly the second and third weeks, like most 3v3 seasons, people will put like some, I don't know, as difficult as possible front wall that you'll probably have to think a little bit to get through, and then you clean up all the non-tier 1 teams, sort of. But this season, they still had that to some extent, but again, I think it was figured out largely after the first week. Maybe which teams you used where, but like usually there's a few teams that were 90+%. But there was so many like trash teams, but with one of the Datacrons that would just make it complicated. They had like 7 results in GG or something like that, and 3 of them are in Erodium. So really, how good is that sort of stat?
I think it's partially just because like I think like this set was so hard to get like to craft the perfect cron. Like you have to be patient with the set. Like I think I have to give myself a pat on the back. Like completely free to play. I got 13 level 9s.
Wow, nice.
After the first set of conquests. But it's like I have to get my 9s, and then I work backwards. I re-roll the 9 once, see if I get what I want. If not, now it's just a level 6 cron. So I think it took people a lot longer. But I noticed by week 2 and 3, people kind of had all their new crons figured out. But usually by the first week, I saw a lot more bulk. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I have a different problem than Sanjita, where I think I have like 3 attackers or something and a boatload of tanks. And man, I wish I had more attacker level 6s. Like,
Yeah, that's the
What
one
I'm
I don't
I
trying
mean,
like.
to
Yeah.
do.
I don't have many more than that, but it's a lot to me. We'll put it that way.
they're nice though.
Yeah,
Like,
it's really hard. It's really hard to like perfect things. So if you're trying to like be exhaustive and completionist about it, it's a pain. Like, I was listening to Gambit podcast. I listened to it over time, so I was just listening to it today. But Solo was saying there were 34 specific crons he wanted in it, and you can only have 30. So
Yeah, they need to up the cap a little
yeah,
bit,
not gonna happen.
just by a little bit.
Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy. It's funny, actually. There's only maybe 5 crons that I really, really, really wanted, and then another probably 20 or something that the guild is, asking for if you can get them. But honestly, the majority of them don't really need stats to be awesome. Of course, who doesn't want 300% defense or, a lot of crit damage or something? But like, I like the set because there's so many different varieties that can still be really, really good. And it sort of goes
Agreed.
into our next topic a little bit here. You were talking, Vancil, about the separatist team for 5v5. Anything else in 5v5 that you're like trying to dig for or put together or test or?
Yeah, there's a team I've been working on for a few months now. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be ready by week 1 because I need about 10 more Omis for it. And yeah,
Oof.
I'm doing 3 Omis on a GAT character. But
Wait. Yeah, I am recording this. Okay.
yeah, you're good. No, I've been eyeballing Afra hard with a mix of Zam and possibly bounty hunters, and I think I got it now where it can be good for either defense or offense now. And with this current Datacron set, I'm leaning more towards defense. As long as I could draw out the CLS. Otherwise it still loses CLS. But there's a lot of interesting things. I think for Ray, I have one cron where it's all defense except for the level 1 and 2, which are like the easiest ones to reroll, but it just doesn't want to give me defense. And it's on a Sabine level 9. So I think I'm going to try
nice.
Sabine with Ray for a little bit and see
I'm very curious about that as well.
I mean, it loses to a
5s.
bunch of things. It still loses. It's not like it's the best comp. I think the support one with Cal might be a little bit more superior. But this is one of those ones where it's like, if you could just supercharge that ult and just kill time, it's going to be hard to one-shot. It's not unbeatable, but I think it'll make the one-shot a lot harder because all those bonus turns she's going to be getting. So obviously, I want to hide her with like Swordy or something like that as well.
Yeah, because for me, almost for Ray these days on defense, it's not so much that she can't be beat. It's that to try and stop Seer from beating her.
Yeah.
That almost seems like the win right there. But
or even Seer, like prevent where she can do it without Starkiller. Because I think if you could draw Starkiller, that's also a little bit of a win.
Yeah, definitely. Can Seer teams be affected with stagger, or they're immune to stagger as well? I don't recall. I know most debuffs they are.
I don't know.
Days they are. I'm not sure about stagger.
Yeah, they flip a lot. I think they can be staggered, but I don't know.
Interesting. Anything besides the Afra and I mean those are 2 good teams though, Afra and Ray.
Afra, Ray, and then also just like I just kind of want to see where like things just fall because I'm not so sure who's going to be on defense or offense this season. I mean, everyone kind of had a mixed bag of 3s, so I think I'm just excited to see like where the chips kind of fall, like where things are going to be really, really good now that they fixed the tank cron. Everyone's kind of looking at that one a little bit differently now. So, are you going to go with the tank cron with Leia, or are you going to go with something else? So yeah, I'm just interested to see the variety. I mean, I feel like we're about to enter like the Baskin Robbins of GC here in a little bit.
Yeah, probably a good analogy there. Did they fix the Starkiller cron? That one's still busted, right?
I don't know what. No, so here's the weird thing. I don't think they know what causes that. Because when I was using it, I was using the previous set. I was just using a normal bulk cron. It's not. I don't know what's causing it. And the thing is, it's not happening
Just a
every
recent
time
update,
either.
they busted it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
However, I will say when I did use it, I used it against a Visas Cron. And I know the Visas Cron has been very, very buggy lately, to the point
Mhm.
where I took in I'll test another character I'm interested to test out is TIE Fighter Pilot. I'm really, really happy he finally got a home. So with Imperial Remnant. That's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the one thing
Yeah.
I've been complaining that Dark Gideon is a really good character, but his team sucks. And he does not need that second tank. But in
Really?
no, there's no damage on that team. That team needs a little bit more
Or, I mean, you
damage.
think his team sucks?
Yeah. Now with TFP,
I mean,
I think they're a lot
I
better.
agree on the tank. I don't think his team sucks.
But so in TW, I did the TFP AOE with I don't even know what I was fighting, but it was something with Visas. I killed everybody on the team. Oh, it was a Star Killer team. I killed everybody on the team but Visas, and everybody was laying down the rest of the fight. Like, you know that animation where they're stuck dead,
Yeah.
but they're still like in play. The whole team was like that
Yep.
but Visas.
Mm.
So
Strange.
her Kron, maybe that's what's causing the Star Killer thing, but again, yeah, I don't know what causes the Star Killer bug. It either happens or it doesn't happen.
I was thinking it might have something to do with Blight because they made some changes with Blight being expirable and non-expirable, depending on whether it's applied to self and other, and there were some bugs in that as well when it first rolled out. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious if it happens in 5 because man, 2 starships is pretty awesome just for banners alone. It's amazing. How is your planning going for 5's tasks? Like, tell us all your super secrets.
I mean, I'm trying to get a couple crons that I didn't get the first time. Really, I got my share of tanks and attackers. I really need to pick up a few more long tech supports. So, other than that, maybe just a few more dark side speed up level 3s as far as datacrons go. As far as team stuff that I'm looking to try, well, I guess my best optimized datacron, my only one that's really truly optimized, is like my 388% defense, light side, buffs level 3, long text attacker level 6 for Jabba. You could also apply that on Ray. There's it's ultimately it's a nest level 9, so whatever. I mean, I could, but that's about it for something really, really crazy crom wise. I do have Night Trooper. I do have the Dark Death Trooper Peridia, so I'll have them both set up. I think there's probably something, maybe not Death Trooper Peridia under Moff Gideon. I'm still probably going to try it, but like Night Trooper at least was a destroyer, and people
Holy
were
crap,
using
yeah.
Malgus to fight that DTMG.
Yep.
And I did it with decent success. I had people beat it with it. I also had people take it and just completely wipe out. And I have to assume, Night Trooper's still standing, that he was a major part of that. And him getting that 100% extra health made him fast track to Relic 9. So,
Oh,
I
yours
love
is
that
at
character.
Relic 9?
My Night Trooper. He's
Oof.
a big boy. He's 95,000 health, 326 speed, 121% potency, 10.6k offense, 79% crit chance.
I fought a Relic, I think it was just Relic 8 Night Trooper. Might have even been Relic 7 with a Malgus team, Malgus, Malak, and for this GAC, I had like a pretty beefy Malak, not super fast, but a lot of stats.
Mhm.
And in one hit, I think it was like against Malak, 276,000
Yeah.
or something like that
Ole.
after like a minute and a half into the fight. And I was like, what is this shit, really? Like, this is ridiculous. I was not expecting
Pretty
it
good.
because I think I had ability blocked him for a couple of turns or something like that, so he wasn't using his big hit, and he was hitting for like 30, 35. Like, okay, yeah, that's fine. And then bam, Malgus is almost dead.
And then he was
Malak's
loose.
gone. Yeah, that was a shocker.
So to add to what you're saying about Jabba,
Mhm.
I think I'm actually gonna go support with Jabba because support blocks Afra. The one thing I learned, Afro, if you give her the support cron, and if she does her little like finger guns, the middle ability first, BT1 and 000 will actually go before Jabba, and you put buff immunity on their whole team. But if the Jabba has the support cron, like your support cron versus their support cron, it shuts down them immediately because he applies the My Kind of Scum at the start of the battle. So Afra's team starts with buff immunity before you even get to take a turn. And when she does get to take a turn, because you're not playing buffs to your team, your cron's essentially shut off.
Yeah. Good call.
Which is something I learned the
Nice.
hard way.
Yikes. That's a good one.
Yeah. Interesting. How
But
about
yeah,
you?
I mean, yeah, nothing else too crazy for me that I'm planning for fives. Just pushing up the mods on some of the regular suspects. That's about it.
I will say that I feel mod wise, I'm now a little bit behind after the Gungans and now the Night Trooper and the new Death Trooper. The Gungans caused a lot of mod reshuffling across the roster. Well, and yeah, Queen
Yes, same here.
as well. So it feels like some of my characters that I was used to having, like certain turn orders are mostly there, but like certain damage levels or beefiness or something, suddenly they lost their like 3 good mods with protection or health or something. And yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of like characters I feel like you have to keep prioritizing. I'm not thinking of anyone specific, but yeah, when they have these new great teams, it's like, okay, you lose your stuff, I'll give it away. I was happy when the True Kron went away because I could poach basically everything he had, give it to someone else because he was no longer important at all.
Yeah. How is your 5v5 planning going, Sanjita?
Well, all this talk about the Krons, I just blew my horde of like 300 Mark II mats. As we've been on this call, I got 2 more words attacker Krons, but I used all of my mats. So, I don't know. For this conquest, I'm just gonna try to roll a bunch of level 8s. I have like 14 or 15 level 9s, and it's good enough. I'm just gonna, because the stats, they're all pretty good. You can re-roll. The most important thing to re-roll is the level 6. I'm not really worrying too much about the level 3 because it's like, I don't know, it's not in the budget, because I mean, I guess I could like try to roll that early and save the level 6 for later because you only have to spend 40 max
level
per
6.
re-roll on the level 6. Yeah, so it's nice, but I don't know. Worrying about the level 3 too much is a bit of a luxury, but I feel pretty good. 5v5 is always easy. I go in with a glut. It's like I got the full last set and I'm in place for the new set, so I just kind of like see what happens. I think the most important one is the wordy support one and the double attacker thing, and I got a handful of each, so
Nice. Yeah, I have to reroll. I
Good.
still have all my stored material, not all, but a lot of stored materials for
Hang on, I can't
level
hear you
3 and
guys.
6 rerolls that I need to try and get some more attackers on.
Oh, there was one team I just thought of. People were doing this
Sorry,
last
on my video there
5v5.
will be technical difficulties.
Have you guys seen the Rolo versus Leia team?
Rolo versus Leia, no?
No.
This is being done in last
restart
season.
once I get volume.
It's Rolo lead with Krex, Cassian, Chupio. I forget who the heck the tank is on the team, but then you have Sana in there, just kind of triggering Rolo to go over and over and over, and then you try to just
okay.
you just berate them down with Rolo essentially. But yeah, there's gonna be data on .gg, but that's a team I'm curious because I'm like I want to see if it's gonna be better with this new set or if there's a way to block it with like the Tankron possibly. But people were essentially just kind of like taking infinite turns against Leia with Rolo.
This was
last
in the end
last
of the
5v5, yeah, last 5v5
Okay.
towards the end, yeah.
That would be, yeah, I'm curious to see that. I wasn't aware of that at all. Is your audio working, Sanjita, now? Can you hear us or no? I'm guessing.
Now it is. It might have been my headphones died, but now I'm using speaker, which apologize to anyone listening from my video. May affect the quality, but
Seems
yeah,
fine
back up.
on
Seems
this
the
side at
same,
least.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the speaker might feed into my mic or something. So
Gotcha.
Mm,
All right. Well,
what am I?
we were just talking about how wonderful you were, but now that you're back,
Oh,
we're
thanks
totally
so
shutting
much.
that down. We'll edit it out of the podcast as well. No, the last thing that I want to talk about in a short period of time here, another 10, 15 minutes, and this is something that I've been thinking about a lot personally myself, is like what in the game are we most excited about or happy for or curious to see what happens or unhappy, sad, wish it could be different in some way. Um, and I'll start a little bit. Like I'm a bit unhappy that there's no upcoming. This is like the same thing we complain about every single episode. It seems like no
Mhm.
upcoming like PvP changes. Um, but I am more happy with the meta now than I have been. It feels like in a year. I'm amazed how fun this last DC set has made PvP for me at least. And that's all. That's mine. What do you guys think? Sanjita, you want to start? What's your
Yeah, I mean,
either
I'm right
or?
there with you. Yeah, I'm right there with you on the like PvP rework. I don't know. I've been wanting something new, something fresh for a while. It doesn't even have to be PvP because we've been in the same TB for a long time. Yes, we get a new raid, but we knew it was coming. It's like since they like told us how cyclical it is, it's not. It doesn't feel like a new thing. It's like, oh, yep, here it comes. There's another thing. I mean, it is cool, but like, I don't know. I just want to see something new other than just like dump a ton of characters into the game. Because I mean, they're really good at that. But I want to see something new, and I would be excited to see something pretty. I don't know, just fresh, novel, not like a. I do want changes to PvP, but it would be cool to see. I don't know, like a Beskar League, almost like a new level of conquest. Because it's getting ridiculous. Like the hard conquest, they're stuck having to design hard conquest to stump the longtime players, which is harder and harder. But then at the same time, that's like what 4 million GP players have to deal with. So I would like to see a new tier of that with extra rewards, not just like, oh, we increase the difficulty for the same thing. Like I would like to see you could still get the character in hard mode in 3 months, but just maybe more other rewards for a harder level of conquest, and then maybe ease up on some of the feats with the newer characters for hard conquest. But yeah, I also enjoy this current Datacron set. There's like too many choices if you're trying to exhaust every possibility. But for me, it's like it's fun. To me, I'm not as worried about the level 9s anyway. So yeah, that part is fun.
Cool. How about you, Tass? What's your take?
I mean, what I'm excited about in the game is just I love the portrait updates, some of the character model updates. It speaks to perhaps more art updates to come. The PC client is a triumph. It's a transformative effect on how you play the game, how you time the way you play the game. Uh, the kits, I would say in the last year, like first of all, the art game has gotten real serious on the characters. Like the animations are outstanding.
Yeah.
The mechanics themselves are thematically correct and interesting, and I'm open to them continuing to make new interesting characters. So whatever they will put out for the rest of the year, I'm down for. I'm hoping that I don't think it's going to happen at this point. I feel like we should have been given some type of breadcrumb for it at this point. I would have loved to have seen some other fleet. Still kind of maybe distantly hoping, but
Trench,
I'm
trench,
otherwise
trench.
Happy about that.
yeah, trench. Yeah. I'm so down for it. I think I've told you before, guys. I'm resentful that I couldn't get my trench portrait when they gave you the character. Like, how are you going to do that? Why would you do that? I want that. So,
Talk to EA support.
I'm sorry.
Wait, is there a real portrait that you didn't get?
There is no portrait for Admiral Trench. There is none.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Travesty.
I didn't know
weird,
that.
isn't it? Yeah, I'd be
I
rocking
didn't
it.
know if you told me that. Would have no idea if that's weird or not weird, honestly.
I'm trying to think of who you can't actually have a portrait for that's like a character like that. I don't know. But that's something I'm looking forward to as far as like stuff that I'm disappointed in. It's the same stuff. You know, here I am talking about the cool teams and stuff that I'm enjoying coming out this year, and it's the same size of board. So that means that other interesting teams are having to get squeezed out. You know, a few years ago we had stuff like Dash Vandor on defense. You know, without like pre-Datacrons and stuff like that. That was like maybe the worst team on your defense. Then it went to something like Resistance Hero Finn was the worst thing on your defense. Now that feels like it's getting pushed out and displaced for something that's yet better. But like, I'd still like to use some of these teams. They're all well kitted. They're all good. And I mean, yeah, the PvP stuff that you guys mentioned still feels stale, but I have high hopes because the choices they have made in terms of like the art stuff, the PC client, this speaks to them having a long-term vision for the game. I expect that there's more in the pipeline.
Only we could
I'm
dismantle
open.
characters.
Jeez. Yeah,
That
let
would
me just
be
say the Lugnar.
good.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
That would be helpful.
Manciel, how about you? How about you?
Yeah, I mean the PC client, it's great. I think it's awesome that people that don't have phones can play the game now. I don't know how big of a demographic that was, but it looks good. It's running good.
Hold on.
A whole lot.
You are look, 4K.
Yeah.
You know, like I have friends playing this game on 60-inch screens. Do not pretend like there's no quality of life. It's like I'm glad these people who apparently didn't have phones can now play the game. No,
Yeah,
it's a big
It
difference.
is.
Come
It is.
on.
I'm just waiting for the first person point of view to come out next. But yeah, no,
VR.
my biggest gripes here on the game, like obviously my pros are artwork, like everything Taz said. This new Datacron set has been, in my opinion, like I've had the most fun with this set, and we just got it. We literally just got it. So I'm gonna be very upset when this one goes away. That being said, I am very curious to see what they pair with this one next, because if they're gonna go back to the traditional faction-based one, I think that's cool. But this one, I mean, this one kind of set the bar pretty high. So we'll see what they pair it with. And I think when we go back to a back-to-back faction Datacron release, I think we're definitely going to miss this current set. It's going to go back to how it used to feel, I feel like, where it's like, oh, it's just this fact. These are the good teams. These are the bad teams. There's no, like, variety of theory crafting. The things I don't like about the game right now, I'm still pretty salty that we're getting another GL. Not because that we're getting one, but because if we're getting a 9th one, that means there's going to be a 10th one. That's just how CG is. They're always going to even things out, and like Tass pointed out, the board hasn't changed. So this is kind of an extreme example, but like Tass said, squeezing out some of your teams. Are we just going to start squeezing off GLs now, like eventually, or conquest units? Because that's kind of the direction we're headed, and I feel like we're getting there a lot faster than we realized. Because sometimes when we get these Datacron sets, it immediately puts a team that's at the bottom of the total poll at the top.
Yeah, especially at 5v5. Like I would say the last
Yes.
3 or 4 seasons, at least 2 or 3 matches in every 5v5, I have a GL left on offense. Not because my opponent plays cheese, just because there's other non-GL teams that are better to place on defense, and I save the GLs for offense, and then there's better options than a GL for offense against what my opponent placed.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Other things too, like I think that they need to add is we've had this TB for almost 2 years now. There's rumors they're going to add a new planet for Darkseid, because Darkseid's the only one that hasn't got a new planet. And if you look up, I guess the new Death Trooper has Darkseid platoons underneath his code or something like that. So people are thinking we're going to have to platoon him for another planet. But I'm like, give us another character or ship or something from TB, because I love the currency, right? But I mean, that's just a bottomless pit. I would like to get a new character to chase.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they can fix GSC or TW, because like our rosters are so just deep. at this point, right? Like I think I suggested it like 3 or 4 episodes ago, and Task like the idea of like just having a draft GAC. I think that's like your only option as a new game mode, because I feel like if they came out with a new game mode, it would just be too unfair. Or if they adjusted GAC, it would benefit these players and not these players, because roster depth is just crazy. It's absolutely crazy where it's at right now.
Let's remake GAC like they do with raids. Give us a new map every year or 6 months or something like
Yeah.
that.
Maybe.
I mean, there's tons of ways they could do it.
Yeah.
I think they could do something though. I hope.
Yeah, I hope so too, because it's how old is GAC now? Like how many years? Like
I think
4,
it's
5?
I think it's 19 that it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say 19.
No, it was before that. It had to be at least the end of 2018 because I started again in 2019 and it had been out for a while. I think it was like I think it was 2018.
Well, there's a difference between like the Grand Arena versus Grand Arena Championship.
Grand Arena
I'm talking
didn't have a
Grand
long
Arena.
shelf life. That was like what, a couple months?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
Probably
overall,
2018.
overall, I think we're due for some new game mode or some update to TB or something other than this new raid. Because the new raids, if you look at it from like the big picture, they're basically glorified galactic challenges. That's all they are.
I think honestly, Naboo raid is pretty cool. I like it thematically.
visually,
it's cool. Visually,
yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah.
It sucks for anybody who doesn't have R9 teams,
But
which is
then in
95%
February or March, we're gonna have to do this all over again. You know, it's like
Yeah, I mean, I also disagree about the Galactic Challenge comparison. The underlying similarity is pigeonholing which teams matter, is as far as that goes for me.
well, people can't do the Gungan GCs, so that's why I use the GC comparison, because there's always a faction, it's always stumping majority of the community.
I mean, the Gungan one has been the most annoying because, like, instead of saying win with a full squad of Gungans, they should just come out and say win with Jar Jar Binks. Like, it just sounds better
Yeah.
because you
Or
cannot
let
do
you
anything.
format it. They
unless
should have let you
Jar Jar.
format it, because then that GC
should've.
Omi would have been relevant. There's no point in applying it, because by the time you
Yeah.
get Jar Jar, you're like, you
Agreed.
don't need it.
I don't need this.
No, you don't.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if it's just me how I'm running it, but like I've been trying to run my new Jar Jar in TB just to like use them, and every time they're trash. Like where I've used them, I've only used them on 2 planets, and they're probably very poorly suited. I used them on Coruscant, which was horrible. I didn't think about it. I just went in. They couldn't kill anything. I got the 3 things, and then where it gives an auto kill, and you get the buff immunity symbol. They got crushed, and then I tried them in Zepho, and they got crushed in the generic node. But I've been very disappointed with Gungans.
Probably need the
Territory
TB Omi for them to survive.
Yeah, which is stupid. It's like it's nice if it makes it easier, but when it's like you can't do anything unless you add an Omicron to this team, it's like, okay, forget it. I'll just use other teams.
Yeah.
You know, the people that have Gungans, most of them have tons of other teams. So
We can't hear you, Tass, if you're talking.
Oh, for what it's worth, I don't have any TB Omicrons, and the Gungans, I put a good bit of attention into them, but they do get missions done in TB. There's hope. There's hope is all I'm trying to say.
You have to have them nice and fast too.
It really matters very on planet. I mean, I have good mods on them, so I thought they'd work, but I think I picked bad planets.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
No, I'm asking which planets.
Oh, I just run them on the light side planet, just whatever's on that right side of the map, whatever day it is. You know, I pick a mission and run them.
Okay. Did you get them to work on Coruscant, the first planet?
I think so.
I'm impressed if you did.
I want to say, I mean,
Quiz next month.
It's pretty much like it's only the last day or 2 where I don't auto everything. So,
Because on Coruscant, they literally I think it's the other team gets protection up for like getting debuffed, or maybe just instances of damage, and they literally all become invincible walls, so you can't really kill anything.
Yeah, I think I do use them every round, but I which specific battle I couldn't say.
I see.
There's hope, is
guys
all I was
suck.
trying to say.
Just double check the other platoons are done first.
Yeah, I think that was the case, but I guess I'm a scrub.
No, I have to say I've used Gungans in most of my TVs as well, but I have like a 70-80% chance of winning, and usually now I think they're pretty good, but your Phalanx has to make sure he gets his taunt up. Otherwise, the AI after I think the first month of Gungans it wasn't working, but since then every AI loves to go after that shield generator.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that is target number one over everything. And it falls pretty quick if you don't have taunt.
Which is probably why I thought they sucked. Because they were going hard at the shield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once that drops, it's pretty much over.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's pretty much all I've had on the topics for today. A last word from everybody before we say goodbye for this month. Sanjita, you want to start by ending?
Nothing, just peace be with you all. See ya.
All right. And the same to you. Pass?
This is the last run of farming up set 16. So look at all the set 15 datacrons you were using on in the last 3 versus 3 and think about how you need to have all of those replaced as best as you can by the time we come back for the next 3s. You'll have 1 week on the new datacron set to prepare, but most of what you'll want to have in reserve is going to need to be set 16. So fill in your blanks while you can.
Very good message. Pencil?
Yeah, guys. Just like I said before, just make sure when you're cooking the salmon with skin side goes down first. Then when you flip it, it's crunchy. If you do skin side up and then you flip it, your skin's very soggy and it's not very good.
Very
And
important.
no citrus is a very acceptable option too.
Yes, we
That's
don't
good
need
to
any
know.
acidity or lemon on that.
Thank you very much. I would just like to say, yeah, peace. I was going to say something about peace too, but you stole that away from me, Sanjit.
I read your
So,
mind and stole it.
yeah. I hope everybody has a fun time this upcoming 5v5 season. And yeah, thanks you guys for another great chat. And I'll talk to you next month.
Thanks,
Cheers.
everybody. See ya.
Yep.
Take care.